Welcome to the Green Nurse podcast, where we bring hope and inspiration for growth and healing. We are here to change the dialogue and stigma around what it means to feel good or be high. Hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing. You deserve to feel good. We all deserve to feel good. And here is a little about what we do in the space as cannabis nurses. And then we'll get started in our show.
It's the paradigm of healthcare.
The Green Nurse is a holistic cannabis nurse that teaches on the endocannabinoid system and the safe utilization of cannabis and other progressive tools to help people reach a better quality of life.
I'm the founder of Holistic Caring. We're based here in California, and we do educational programs and case management for patients on how to use cannabis therapeutically as a medicine.
We're also here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high, hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing.
As the founder of Holistic Caring, I basically oversee the whole ship. And what we're doing is progressive education.
Cannabis actually supports all 11 organ systems, our immune system, and all the neurotransmitter signaling systems that give messages to tell our body to either do something or not do something. Because the plant was prohibited, it prevented health professionals, doctors and nurses from learning about cannabis as medicine.
I want to change the paradigm of healthcare and us paving the way into a new vanguard of medicine.
It's about education, it's about empowerment, it's about teaching people how to feel good, bridging the gap from what they're not getting from traditional medicine, utilizing different plant medicines, adaptogens, tips, tricks, hugs, and nugs of information to support and nourish the most important system in our body.
And it's a lot of soul work, a lot of love, a lot of discipline, and meditation. I'm using my life work as a testimony to others to learn how they can be their own hero and then go help heal the world.
And we are, as nurses, the game changers.
Oh, there you go. Growing your health, growing in cannabis. My name is Sherri Mack, and I'm the Vice President of Nursing and co-founder of Holistic Caring and the Green Nurse. And I'm a cannabis nurse, patient, advocate, activist, and a very passionate podcaster, here to change the paradigm of healthcare. And I hope you will join me along the way. So today's guest, you'll be seeing a lot more of, as she will be podcasting with us on all things holistic caring, as well as being one of our super Cannabis Health Coach nursing supervisors. I want to introduce Katie McCarthy. She is a registered nurse, Cannabis Health Coach, Reiki Master, author, nurse executive at Holistic Caring Network, and former director of medical at the DRIPBaR, which we're going to talk about. She is a multi-passionate entrepreneur who believes that if you are passionate about something, work hard, follow your intuition, anything is possible. Katie,
100%.
welcome. There's just so much more about you there to talk about.
Thanks, Sherri. I'm so honored and privileged to be here, honestly. And so grateful to you and to Elizabeth for just everything that you have put into these programs at Holistic Caring that I've been dedicating, the past several years to just diving into all of the education. It's so important for there to be leaders in this space changing people's lives. And I'm grateful to you every day, and I'm happy to be here.
Oh, thank you. And the part that's just a little bit different about, us two, Elizabeth and I, is that we were also, not only are we clinicians, but we were also patients on the other side of the bed at one point in time and have truly understand what it means to be sick and to know what it's like to suffer, to suffer at the hands of the conventional system, and having the nuances, being holistic nurses as well, as well as conventional care nurses. endocannabinoid system care is what is missing
Mhm.
so much from our conventional system. And so we're going to talk about that today, and about what you're doing and what we're doing, and how you're changing the paradigm of healthcare. You've just been doing some amazing things. Katie, you just don't wake up one day and say, hey, I'm going to be a cannabis nurse. Hey, I'm going to be, start educating on CBD and helping people. There's usually a compelling story. And so I want our viewers to get to know you, Katie McCarthy. So
Well,
let's get started about you.
okay. Well, I think, everyone has a why, right? We all have a reason. And like you said, most of us start out on the other side of it, and we are patients first because we go through something that changes us. And through that change is growth, and you learn something. And so for me, cannabis nursing came into my life because I had a family member that I was caring for back in 2019, and she was at the end stage of her cancer journey, and I was her sole caretaker. And we leaned into cannabis products because we had tried everything else to keep her comfortable. And we were kind of just at a place where we decided that can't hurt, right? And I knew nothing about cannabis other than weed, marijuana. That my knowledge extended to a joint in high school and college, and that was about it. But we started using cannabis as medicine for her to treat her nausea and pain. And not only cannabis, but I would be taking her into Boston for oncology appointments. And on Thursdays, they would offer free Reiki healing. And so Reiki healing on that day was something that I didn't know what it was. I knew a little bit about it, but I had never explored Reiki energy. I had never explored plant medicine. But through seeing the changes in her, which I can dive into if we have time, but I think we have a lot to talk about today. But through seeing the changes in her, I recognized, wow, this really helps her. This really helps her more than I've seen some other approaches, such as pharmaceuticals, helping her. And I decided maybe I should try this for myself. Once I learned that there was a way to use cannabis and not be impaired, I decided maybe it was something that me, who struggled with chronic anxiety since I had postpartum anxiety 13 years ago, I thought maybe I should try this for me. So her journey led into my own journey. And cannabis, yoga, and meditation were the first 3 tools in my toolbox that changed my life and brought me out of a very dark place. So I watched it help my family. I watched it help myself. And I'm so passionate about sharing how to successfully, safely use these methods of holistic caring for anybody who comes my way who's struggling with something.
So as you know, Katie, the drivers of health, the most drivers of health that we've been teaching about, live outside the conventional system and are modifiable by us as patients and providers and people, right? We can't live without connection. We can't live without nutrition. We can't live without movement, and we can't live without rest, right? And so how do we incorporate all of those things into caring for the human, and how do we inspire people for change? And you're very, very inspirational. Why did you decide to bring cannabis into your nursing career? What was it? Like, what was the?
I think it was the success stories. It was the testimonials. It was the watching, starting low dose use myself, seeing how transformational it was for my mood, for stabilizing my insomnia, for helping with I was having chronic pain from a car accident. There were so many things that I was using it for anxious symptoms, but it changed so many different areas of my health that's when I dove into the education behind it. And the more I learned, the more I realized that I went into nursing to help people. I went into nursing to help save people, to bring them to a place where they're feeling hurt or ill or scared, and make them feel safe and better and healthy. And so the more I learned about cannabis as medicine, the more I recognized that this was a huge missing piece in the healthcare system, and that it honestly made me angry when I learned about the endocannabinoid system, and that every human has an endocannabinoid system that we've never been taught to supplement for this system that we all walk around likely depleted. And when I started to learn about how to supplement for it and all of the benefits that entailed, I was like, why is this not in nursing textbooks? Why is this not something that nurses are taught to help share with people? And I've just ever since have not stopped going down this rabbit hole of education, which has led me to meet beautiful people like you and beautiful healthcare professionals and coaches, and everyone's involved in this movement are just humans helping other humans. Good people with kind hearts who want to do better for the world. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I think it's so important in nursing, because that's what nurses are, right?
We're problem solvers, we're game changers. We're here to help. We're here to educate. We're here to empower. We're here to handhold. We're here to navigate. We're here to troubleshoot and to guide and to direct and to provide that care, that TLC, right? The essence of nursing is human caring for the entire human experience, no matter what it is, no matter what a patient's going through. We're there for them, you know. And cannabis is such a powerful medicine. I too, you know, I never learned about the endocannabinoid system. It's not taught in nursing school. It's not taught in medical school. And that's because of prohibition. And we are going to see that change very, very shortly. You know, there's a lot of work that's being done at the American Cannabis Nurses Association. They're doing a presentation on September 28th on the scope and standards, working with the American Nurses Association to get cannabis nursing credentialed. So that's very, very powerful. So, you know, in the National Council State Boards of Nursing, so if you are a nurse that's out there, I really highly recommend that you look at our website. Under Green Nurse Mentoring, we have the 64-page document that was put out by the National Council State Boards of Nursing. They put in 2018, they wrote it in a 64-page document in the Journal of Nursing Regulation that says that all nurses, nurse practitioners, advanced practice nurses, and nursing students must have 6 essential areas of knowledge when it comes to cannabis as medicine. And so we are truly here to change the paradigm of healthcare. People are making great cannabis medicines and CBD formulations. People are selling them, but no one's truly interpreting how to use cannabis as medicine for patients. And that's what we do as nurses. We interpret that, handhold, guide, direct, and nuance some of the things that can be just a little bit difficult for patients to understand, because the plant medicine model is very, very different than the pharmaceutical model. It's really, really teaching people how to listen to their smart body, right? And how to take care of it.
That's my favorite part about plant medicine, is that it teaches us to pause and check in with ourselves. When you're using the plant, you have to stop and really get in touch with how you're feeling. And sometimes in our fast-paced lives and when we're using pharmaceuticals, we don't stop to do that. So, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So why did you choose to become involved with holistic caring? You know, so let's talk about your nursing career and how that has evolved and shifted and changed, because you've been doing, you know, you've done a lot, and you're also a photographer.
This is a loaded question, Sherri.
And the part that's really interesting, Katie, is our lives are very similar. So the photography, I'm a photographer. Reiki Master, I'm a Reiki Master, and reconnective healing. And so it just seems like all of these beautiful things that we take on as nurses, you know, to do what? To help other people reach new levels of wellness and to appreciate beauty and to live their best lives, right? So tell us a little bit more about your other activities.
My journey. Okay. So just summarize, life is all about balance, okay? In so many different ways, but life is all about balance. And what I found was that my nursing journey started, I was a pediatric nurse manager at an outpatient nurse pediatric office, and I loved it, but there was no balance for my family. So I ended up moving into a hospital setting, and I worked in acute medical surgical adult nursing for 8 years. And through that process, I recognized that caretaker burnout can be a real challenge for a lot of nurses who work 32, 40 hours a week. You know what I'm talking about. Caretaker burnout is real. And if you're always giving to everyone around you and not giving to yourself, then you aren't giving the best to the people that you're trying to serve. And so I started diving into photography as a hobby, and I found a great balance between photographing my children, which is how it started, babies. And I was just doing that for fun. And people started asking me, hey, your pictures are really beautiful. Would you mind taking pictures of my children? And it snowballed into this incredible business. In 2014, I became an official business. And in 2017, I went full-time photography, part-time nursing. Fast forward to 2019, when I experienced, a lot of hardship, a lot of mental health stress in my own life. My family member, who I was sharing about earlier, was in her end stage of her disease, and I was her caretaker. And talk about caretaker burnout. It was a lot. I was running a 6-figure business, working once a week at the hospital, trying to be a mom to 2 kids, a wife to my amazing husband, and taking care of her while she was dying, and she lived with us. So it was a lot. It was a lot. And I needed to slow down, and I needed to take a step back. And so I promised myself that 2020 would be the year that I focused more on me, that self-care would become a priority, that my family would come even first above my entrepreneurship. Because sometimes if you're an entrepreneur out there, you may know that you have to put work first when you're trying to build a business or an empire. And that can be hard for a family. And so I decided I was going to take a step back. Well, I must apologize because I truly believe that I manifested COVID. Because it was like, I'm kidding. I didn't manifest COVID, but what I'm saying is that great pause that we all experienced by this pandemic coming in 2020 was that moment for me. I stopped. My photography business shut down, and I had all of this time on my hands, and I was picking up shifts at the hospital, and I was like, what am I going to do with this time? I didn't have time like that before. And I started to write a book, and my book is called Meant for Chaos. And it was an opportunity for me to share with the world what got me through those hard times, what it was that made me be able to still have this successful career and the business that was still blossoming and blooming through all of my hardship. And my family, who always felt supported, and nobody ever knew the struggles that I was experiencing. And it was because of these tools that I used. And so that's what led me into the cannabis space. My book had a whole chapter about how cannabis saved my life and how it saved people around me. And I partnered with a USDA certified organic CBD company and jumped on board with them. I found you, Sherri, and I found Holistic Caring and the Green Nurse. And I dove into all of your teachings and became a cannabis health coach. And then I started my own cannabis health coaching business. And the success that I've had with all of my different pathways and the dynamic experiences that I have allowed me the opportunity to get a job last year working for the DRIPBaR. And that was a very exciting moment because I felt like it took all of my integrative health education that I had with my Western medicine education, and it combined it into one fine little package. And it was an amazing opportunity that I was so grateful to jump on board with. The DRIPBaR is really very special. And that led me to now a place where nutraceuticals and the way that they benefit our bodies, along with plant medicine and cannabis and, microdosing mushrooms, all of the amazingness and goodness that there is out there naturally for us to experience for healthcare. That's where I want my nursing career to take a turn. And so that's what I've dove into. That's where I am now.
Yes. And so for the viewers, the DRIPBaR is IV nutrients, IV nutrition, IV drips to support health and wellness. And Katie is actually going to be presenting our clinical conversations next month on October 18th. at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to have clinical conversations where Katie is actually going to talk about the endocannabinoid system and the endocannabinoid dome and nutraceuticals and supplement use and how supplements can help to enhance the efficacy of CBD and other cannabis products that you're using to fine tune and monitor the endocannabinoid system and the endocannabinoid dome, helping it to work better. So, the goal of using cannabis and plant medicines is to take the least amount to get the most therapeutic response below the threshold of anything happening negatively to impact you. So you can use supplements like that. So Katie is going to get into a deep dive about supplements and those particular supplements that have been researched, studied, and substantiated to nourish the endocannabinoid system and the endocannabinoid dome, which includes the microbiome and the lipid dome. Really, really good stuff. And I love, and that's the other parallel too, Katie. At one point in time in my life, when I was a nurse, I was an infusion nurse. So I was a nurse that was actually mixing, I was a chemotherapy nurse, mixing chemotherapy, helping people with their TPN and their IV antibiotics and doing all of these things. And then in working with a functional holistic practitioner who is also doing nutraceuticals in his office and giving, IVs to patients to support their journey of conventional care. So that's the important thing is these IV drips. Just explain a little bit how might people use IV drips.
So, and I think this, it's going to lead great into our next topic too. The IV hydration world, the industry is evolving. And I'm sure if you look up an IV vitamin opportunity in your area, you're going to find a whole bunch. But it's a little bit wild, wild west. And in order for IV therapy to be done safely, there are a lot of factors that come into play. The DRIPBaR is very special because it was developed with cancer care in mind. And that's part of the reason I jumped on board. So IV vitamin therapy, there's lifestyle drips that are just for your average preventative health, or if you're just looking to boost your immunity, or you're looking for some extra energy, or you're looking to help with anti-aging, things like that. There's lots of lifestyle options for you. Support options. And the health support options are what I get really excited about what I get really stoked about, and what I think the DRIPBaR is doing really well. It's IV high dose vitamin C for cancer support is one thing that I did not know about until the DRIPBaR came into my life. I had the privilege of being part of the research and development team, which was a bunch of different specialists. We had an integrative cancer specialist from Canada who uses high-dose vitamin C in his practice as part of the team. We had pharmacists, we had oncologists, we had GYN oncologists. It was such an incredible makeup of different specialists that would create protocols and programs for chronic health conditions. But the one that got me the most was this high-dose vitamin C, because in high-dose vitamin C, we're treating cancer patients along with their chemotherapy, and we're seeing such incredible outcomes, really, really amazing outcomes. The research is just, it's captivating if you go down that rabbit hole. So that was one thing that really caught my eye at the DRIPBaR. And I think that everything in our life happens for a reason. I think every experience that we go through is something that is because of a journey that we've followed or a path that has led us there. And I think that the DRIPBaR came into my life at a time that I wasn't sure if it was right for me, but I jumped at it anyway because it was exciting and it was innovative. And not too far after that, about 6 or 7 months after I started there, one of my best friends, 38 years old, she was diagnosed with breast cancer and she needed help. She had a lot of questions, and I had every resource at my fingertips in my daily life. All of these incredible minds, doctors who I was sitting and talking about cancer support on a daily basis. And I was able to give her all of those resources. I was able to connect her with holistic caring and CBD support. And I was able to connect her with integrative health oncologists and radiologists. And it was like, this is why the DRIPBaR came into my life. It was so that I would be able to have this knowledge, this understanding, these resources for my best friend when she was about to embark on this journey.
Yeah,
So.
amazing. And nutrition is the key.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, we have 30 trillion cells in our body. 30 trillion cells broken down into 11 organ systems, our immune system, and all the neurotransmitter signaling systems, right? All of those cells need to be fed and nourished, healthy nutrients. So really, really important. So when you hear us nurses talk about the importance of diet and nutrition, that's the reason why, because these have to feed our cells to be able to perform functions, to be able to have the cells communicate with one another, right? Intracellular communication through the endocannabinoid system. So nutrition is really, really important. So you're doing amazing work, Katie.
And I think just to touch on that as well, the IV cellular therapy is really important because most of us don't walk around with optimal gut health. And so the vitamins that we take as oral supplements and the vitamins that we get from our food, we're not getting 90% of, we're getting 30 to 40% of the vitamins that our body needs. And that's where the IV, getting it at the cellular level, that's where it comes in. It has to be done safely. It has to be high quality. It has to, there are a lot of factors for IV vitamin therapy support, but if you find the right place that's doing it the right way, you're going to benefit in immense ways from those nutraceuticals at the cellular level.
Absolutely. Okay, back to cannabis, and then we're going to talk about the event that you're putting on. So what do you see? What is one of the things that you hope to see happen with cannabis as medicine in the future? Right? Let's talk a little bit about that. And what do you see as a priority in the cannabis industry?
Education. I mean, hands down. I think that priority is that the endocannabinoid system needs to be taught. It needs to be taught to medical professionals. It needs to be taught to patients. It needs to be taught to everybody. Everybody in the world should be taking a daily dose of CBD to support their endocannabinoid system. They should be learning about how to heal their minds and their bodies through breath work. They should be learning. There's so many ways that we can support our endocannabinoid system that are very simple in our daily lives.
And doesn't require cannabis. This is one of the things that when we're educating clinicians and doctors, you don't have to use cannabis to support and nourish the endocannabinoid system. Cannabis, CBD, hemp, THC, the minor cannabinoids, right, is a tool. But you can influence the endocannabinoid system multiple different ways. The endocannabinoid system is the largest neurotransmitter signaling system in our body. It regulates the fight or flight response and the relaxation response. And guess where most of us are living? The fight or flight response, right? That's where healing happens, right? The relaxation response. So our role as clinicians is to understand those things that support and nourish the endocannabinoid system and those things that don't. So if we do have to prescribe a treatment to a patient that may influence or have a negative impact on the endocannabinoid system and its regulation, then it's important that we have ways to mitigate those side effects to further not deplete, right? So everything that we do or don't do in our lives, every treatment that a practitioner prescribes to you influences that most important system. And that system is the system that keeps our body into balance, constantly regulating, helping us to get out of fight or flight and into the relaxation response. And so when we don't have cannabis on board, this is where clinicians come into play. And this is where lifestyle and all of those hugs and nugs and tips and tricks that you hear nurses talk about so often, the diet and the nutrition, the meditation, the calming of the mind, the exercise, the connection, the rest, the energy healing, all of these have an impact on this most important system. And when you pair cannabis, CBD, hemp with health and wellness, you're totally dialing up
superpowers.
Superpowers, truly superpowers. Yeah. So let's talk about what's going on. You have an event coming up.
Yes. So the dear friend that I spoke of just briefly before with the DRIPBaR conversation, she is killing it. She's kicking breast cancer's butt. She still has a very long road ahead of her. And we've been friends since kindergarten. So we have a very long history together. And this year was supposed to be our 20th high school reunion. So our 20th high school reunion was supposed to be happening this year. She was the treasurer of our class. I was the secretary. And so as the class executive board, we would have been throwing that event. Rather than throwing a reunion, we decided in lieu of a reunion, we would have a gathering of just hope and support and friendship for Amanda. Amanda is coming home from LA for this event, which is very exciting. She lives out in LA and she's coming home for this event. And it's just going to be open to public. It's a gathering of people to say thank you for everyone who's been supporting her journey, as well as to help with what was meaningful for her and what was meaningful in my ability to help her. And what that was holistic care. I mean, we can talk about all day all of the different treatments that people have to go through when they're on a cancer journey. But at the end of the day, a lot of the supportive treatments that are really, really helpful aren't covered by insurance. And, you know, there's supplements that they can be taking, and there's diet, nutrition, there's coaching for that diet and nutrition, there's acupuncture, there's Reiki healing, there's, cancer massage, the list goes on, IV therapy. There's so many supportive, integrative opportunities for us to balance their mind, body, spirit, positive mindset, getting them into a place of holistic health so that their body can go into that relaxation response and heal along with their cancer treatment. And Amanda's been going through a lot of these modalities. She's been trying a lot of different things. And for me, I am so grateful that the past 2 to 3 years of my life have been dedicated to learning about all of these modalities, because it allowed me to really share what could be helpful. So the Reunion of Hope is an opportunity for holistic caring to come together with me and all of my class from Holbrook, Massachusetts, and really wrap our arms around Amanda and let her know that we are with you, and also that we are with other people that are on this cancer journey. And holistic caring provides some really amazing opportunity to give patient support, not only through teaching cannabis in our nurse line and professional programs, but also through holistic care. And so all of the proceeds from the Reunion of Hope will go to holistic caring and the Green Nurse, and it will provide.
That's what I want people.
Yes, the nonprofit, right?
Yeah. So Holistic Caring and the Green Nurse is a for-profit, but we also have a nonprofit. And so we sent out a newsletter at the beginning of the month, and a newsletter just went out a couple of days ago. If you haven't signed up for the newsletter, sign up for the newsletter to explain a little bit about what we do at our nonprofit. And so our nonprofit is divided into 4 different sections. Patient coaching. So donations are allocated into 4 different buckets or segments. So patient coaching. So holistic caring nurses will meet selected patients for no fees. So we'll be able to do free coaching for patients, patient appointments, and to help them actually purchase their medicines. Holistic caring will also arrange for patients to receive holistic caring healing items or personal care during cancer or other serious illnesses for no fees. And some of the things that were mentioned for a support wish list included integrative healing supportive services, acupuncture, oncology massage, lymph drainage, cool cap therapy to preserve the hair, wigs, brows, lashes, housekeeping services, dietitian services, meals and food prep, supplements, plant medicine, IV vitamin therapy services, mind-body classes, Reiki, breathwork, yoga, meditation, reconnective healing. So those are holistic caring modalities. And then the other thing too, the donations are also allocated for professional programs for nurses. So we have nurses, we're creating an application for nurses to apply for scholarships. They can enroll in the Holistic Caring and CBD Cannabis Health Coach program for no fees. And also the donations for Holistic Caring Inc. support our nurse line. So Holistic Caring nurses provide free nurse line support at 970-404-HOPE. So we've been building out our nonprofit for years, serving patients and brand partners around. So people are making great medicines, people are selling these medicines, but no one is truly interpreting how to use cannabis medicine. That's what we do. So the Reunion of Hope will go to, the funding will go to the nonprofit for patient coaching, holistic care, professional programs, and nurse line. Specifically, the holistic caring programs will go to support the cancer patients and the wish list that they have to make their days a little bit better. So that is Holistic Caring Inc.
Yeah. So, and the Reunion of Hope, just so everyone knows, it's on October 8th, Sunday, October 8th. It starts at 2:00 p.m. It is at the Lucky 777 Bar and Grill in Holbrook, Massachusetts. We invite all of you, bring your friends, bring your families, bring the kids. It's going to be such an amazing event. We have an incredible band called the Mother Funk Band who's coming to play. They're amazing. They're one of Amanda's favorite bands, and it's going to be just a nice reunion, nice energy. It's going to be so much fun. We also have 3D photo booths through Zion Photo Booth and Entertainment. Lucky 77 has been generous enough to donate their space, as well as allotting 10% of all food and beverage to the fundraiser, which is incredible and so generous of them. And of course, Elizabeth and Sherri from Holistic Caring will be there, and we'll do meet and greet and networking, and we can talk about all of the amazing ways that Holistic Caring Inc. can support cancer patients. So thank you to everyone who has helped bring this event together. The list of raffles, we have 42 raffles and counting, with a silent auction item, a trip to Ireland. It's really an incredible culmination of what a small town love alongside nurse care can all bring together to create this really incredible event. So it's going to be one for the books.
Yeah, free event, Sunday, October 8th. Starting at 2 p.m., ending at 5 p.m. However, it will be going on into the evening. And we really hope to see you there for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait. I hope all of you can come. I hope that, I just hope that everyone feels the energy and the love that is in that room, because the people who have been working hard to put this together are really, really special. And I think that everyone will have a great time.
Yeah, it is going to be beautiful. And actually, to be quite honest, I've reached out to a couple patients of mine, a couple of cancer patients who are in complete remission, and one of them is going to come.
Yay.
So yeah, so my
That's
stage
so
4
great.
pancreatic cancer patient, Marta, and her husband said that they were going to come to the event to meet everyone. And they've been working with them since 2017, both of them, which will be amazing. So we hope to see you all there as well.
So much inspiration. It's going to be amazing.
It really is. It is really. So if you can't attend, you can donate. Right? So there is a way for you all to donate if you cannot attend, and you can donate right on the nonprofit page. Just go back again. Boom. To the nonprofit page. Donate right here. Donate now. Support patients right there. All right. And then I'm just going to bring up and show Katie one more time. There is Nurse Katie. Yes, Nurse Katie doing amazing things. So what is going on in your life now, Katie? You have a new position. You're doing some cool things.
I do. Okay. And so I feel like this new chapter of my life, which I actually have not even announced yet, it's bringing me back to the reason I became a nurse in the first place. The way I share it is that I think a lot of the jobs and the entrepreneurship and the positions that I've had the privilege of holding were things that fed my ego, and this job feeds my soul. So I've taken a position working at the Cordwainer, which is a memory care facility. But it's not just your average memory care, it's memory care reimagined. It is the owners traveled all around the world to see how other cultures take care of their elders. And they brought that to the United States and put it into this beautiful state-of-the-art facility. It's brand new. It's less than a year old. They really incorporate plant medicine and, the natural light and activities. And they have language programs, and they have a Reiki room and aromatherapy. And it's just the most beautiful way to take care of people that I've ever seen in my nursing career in real life. So I took a job working there because it's going to be a space where I can bring my Reiki healing and my cannabis medicine and all of the nursing experience that I have into one beautiful little umbrella. And really make a difference in people's lives. So it's new, it's exciting, but I'm also working as a nurse supervisor with holistic caring. And it's so incredible to be bringing this world into the nursing world. And I feel like everything I've been working towards for the past 3 years is finally coming together. And I feel like I'm in the right place with the right people. So thank you for having me, Sherri.
Good. So, well, what has it been like to adjusting? Was it hard for you to decide to make the shift to, just because there's a lot of nurses that are out there, so I want your story to be an inspiration to them, about change, and how you made those decisions, because it's important for other nurses, because there's a lot on the table. We have the farm bills coming up. That's going to be done over. What's going to happen with the farm bill? What's going to happen with scheduling? What's going to happen with nursing? So nurses that are out there, I want your story to be an inspiration, because you truly are an inspiration.
Thank you. I think it comes back to your gut and your why, and listening to your intuition, and never being afraid to remember that you are the CEO of your nursing license. You have a nursing license, but you are the CEO of that license, and there's nobody that can tell you how to use it. And there were moments in my career where I beat myself up. I beat myself up a lot for walking away from the bedside in 2020. I made that decision because the pandemic shut down my studio, and I was actually disqualified from small business assistance because of the once a week paycheck I got from the hospital. So I had to choose to either walk away from my studio or walk away from my nursing job. And I didn't want to make that decision, but I had put my whole life into my studio. And so I walked away from my nursing job to keep my studio. And at the time, it felt raw, and I felt vulnerable, and I felt like a failure. I felt like I walked out of a war, and what were people going to think of me? And it was a really challenging time in my life. But through all of it, I knew that there was something bigger that I was meant to do. And it was not to work 40 hours a week at the bedside in a hospital. That was not what I was meant to do. It was part of what I was meant to do, and it was part of my story, but it wasn't my ending. And so I just trusted, and that's hard to do. Leaps of faith are hard to take, but I trusted that there was something more. And that's when I found cannabis medicine. And that's what led me to the next opportunity, which then led me to the next opportunity. And if something feels wrong, it's probably wrong. And if it feels right, it's probably right. And I think where I'm at right now feels right because it's not about money. It's not about my hourly rate or my salary. It's about the fact that I have literally tried every type of nursing I could try. And I have recognized that being around people is what makes me soar and what makes my soul shine. And so I think you have to dig down deep if you're a nurse, and you have to find out what made you become a nurse. What was it that you wanted to do? And for me, it was to serve others. And I think that through mind, body, spirit health and helping the whole person and learning about all of the modalities that are out there, that's how I'm really changing people's lives. In my past 3 years as a cannabis health coach, I have seen more testimonials and witnessed the lives changed of more people than I ever was able to at the bedside. Because at the bedside, it was too fast. There were too many patients. It was passing meds. I didn't have time to sit and hold someone's hand and listen to what they had to say. I didn't have time to really dive into, okay, well, this is what your chronic health condition is, but tell me about your lifestyle. Tell me about do you have spiritual health? What's your nutrition like? Do you exercise? There was never time for those conversations. And now in my Reiki practice and in my cannabis coaching and in my newfound memory care, I'm sitting with people for long periods of time, getting to know them and really being able to offer solutions that are lasting solutions. So
you're doing great work.
Yeah.
Great work. Now, I just need to do a plug from our sponsor. So today's show is brought to you by Bloom Hemp. Life doesn't give you days off. That's why there's hemp, right? And Bloom Hemp is a woman and nurse-owned national hemp and CBD supplier leading with quality, safety, value, and patient-centered care. Bloom Hemp products are USDA organic CBD grown in the mountains of Colorado and tested for purity, potency, cannabinoid, and terpene profiles. Green Nurse stamp of approval. Bloom Hemp is proud to offer a free nurse line, 970-404-HOPE4673, to answer questions and explain how and why CBD works in the body. Bloom Hemp is also offering 10% off with the coupon code Green Nurse for 10% off. So Bloom Hemp, blooming in health.
And what I love about Bloom Hemp, I just have to jump in and say, because believe me, everybody out there, I have tried a lot of different products over the past 3 years in a lot of different companies. And what is so special about Bloom is the fact that it is medical professionals who have helped create these formulations of not only CBD, but botanicals and other ingredients that really target symptoms and really make an impact and a difference for patients. And what is even more special is the nurse line and the care plan. I mean, being able to call and talk to a nurse and say, this is what I'm struggling with. What do you recommend? And getting a care plan, that is what plant medicine needs to be. Right.
And it's free. That's the thing. If you go to the Bloom Hemp website and you go to the services tab, click on the link, you fill out some questions, you're going to get an email back with some recommendations based on how you filled out the intake form, as well as lifestyle tips and tricks, hugs and nugs to help you get into the Thrive Zone to live your best life, for sure. Yeah, and we also have a pharmacist on board as well. So Bloom Hemp is doing some great stuff. So Katie, this has been an absolute and amazing show. Katie is going to be writing our newsletter for October. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, sign up for the newsletter today. Go to holisticcaring.com. And when you sign up for the newsletter, you'll get a 7-page free medical cannabis guide. And then she's also going to be back October, I think it was
28th, I think. Oh, 18th. I don't know. It's on my calendar.
Yep, October 18th
Yes.
at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And she's going to be presenting on nutraceuticals and the endocannabinoid system and the endocannabinoid dome and how we can modulate that using nutraceuticals to support CBD and cannabis. Katie, any last words for our viewers?
No, just thank you all for being here. Thank you, Sherri, for having me and for all of the work that you do, because you're truly a pioneer in this space and I'm proud to be a follower.
Oh, thank you. And remember, everyone, what it's all about. It is truly about living your best life and helping others do the same.
We're here to educate and empower patients to make choices that are best for them. We're also here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high. Hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing. The Green Nurse is a holistic cannabis nurse that teaches on the endocannabinoid system and the safe utilization of cannabis and other progressive tools to help people reach a better quality of life.
I was cannabis agnostic for many, many years. And you know, the more research I did, the more I discovered that cannabis is this amazing medicine.
I was told that I had a 4-stage pancreatic cancer. The doctor really told me he couldn't do anything else. He gave me her name and she called me and she came to my house. She started to give me cannabis. My oncologist was puzzled because he couldn't find the cancer anymore.
All of the learning that we get comes from the Green Nurses group, comes from their support, comes from their guidance. I trust everything that she says.
Simply meet people where they're at. The plant doesn't, stress to grow, so we don't stress to share it. We're healing people.
Cannabis has been used as a medicine for tens upon thousands of years. Here's the big message. Cannabis needs to be federally legal. We need to have laws that are the same across all 50 states that allow access to anyone and everyone who wants to utilize this powerful medicine.